Hey everybody, I'm Scott Wyko. You're listening to our very special tribute to the great Lefty Frizzell right here on My Kind of Country, Fish Creek Radio. One of the nice things about Lefty Frizzell is that he gave many chances and breaks to some up and coming country music stars. And of course, we all know the story of Merle Haggard, how he got his chance to sing for the first time in front of people when Lefty got him up to sing there in Bakersfield, California. But another gentleman that he also helped became a monster superstar in his own right, and he was hired by Lefty Frizzell literally on the spot, and worked with him for many years. And he's got a lot of great stories to tell, and it's a very true honor to have him back on the show again tonight. Freddie Hart. Freddie, how are you tonight?
Scott, I feel honored, my good friend. Thank you so much. You're very special to me, Scott. You know, you really are. You know, not just a disc jockey. You're a good friend, you know.
Well, I feel likewise, and it's always a great time talking with you. You always have so many great stories, and I know you got a lot of good stories about Lefty Frizzell. And I'd like to start by asking you, Freddie, when was the first time that you met Lefty, and what's the story behind you being hired to go on the road with him?
Well, I was living in Phoenix, Arizona at the time. And you know, Marty Robbins and Whirling Jennies, they got their start about the same year I did. Marty Robbins got his start the same time I did. But we all lived there around Phoenix, Arizona there. Well, Lefty came to town that one day in Phoenix, Arizona there. He was playing at the Riverside Ballroom, a place where Bob Wills and almost every artist in the business, I guess, has played at one time. It was a big place, well-known place. And I heard that he was in town, and that he was staying at the Adams Hotel, and I heard he was there. So I called up there, and I got a hold to him. I told him I knew Wayne Ranney, which I knew. Wayne Ranney had that song, "Why Don't You Haul Off and Love Me One More Time." Yeah. That was Wayne Ranney's song. It's a big hit song. But I knew Wayne, and he was a good friend of Lefty Frizzell's. So that's kind of an in I had because I knew Wayne Ranney. I told him, I talked to him a minute about Wayne and everything. He said, "Come on up here to see me. Come on up." So I came on up there to the hotel. He opened the door. He just come out of the shower with a towel around him, and had his manager was there in the room with him, just sitting around, you know. And he said, "Come on in here." You know, I came in, and so we got to talking. And I got to singing him some songs and things. So I put some songs down on tape for him and things. He says, "Freddie, I'm working at the Riverside Ballroom here in Phoenix." Says, "Why don't you go down there with me?" So I did. I went down. Well, I was in hog heaven being with him. He was a great star, you know. My goodness alive, and I had never met a big star before, you know. I never did. Well, I did. I met Hank Williams in 1949. But I went down there and he put on the show outstanding. He was outstanding, my goodness. And so after the show, he said, "Freddie, why don't you go on the road with me?" I said, "I ain't got no money." He said, "All right." He said, I'll pay you away. He said, "I'll give you a little money here or there, you know." And so I was working at a cottonseed mill there in Phoenix, Arizona. They was on strike, and I really needed some money, you know. I was pretty well broke there. He told me to pay me so much a week, so while I was with him. So I went on the road with him. I was with him in 1951 and 52. He had a leader in a band that was working with him, named Lou Millette was his name. He was the kind of leader of Lefty's band there. And I'd get up on the stage and I'd sing some of his songs. Sing the songs for Eddie Arnold, Roy Cuff, Bill Monroe. I'd sing somebody else's song. I didn't have none of my own to sing. And so, and sometimes I'd bring him on stage, you know. And he had a bus. He'd let that bus would go ahead of him, and I had and he had a car. I'd ride with him, just me and him in the car, you know.
Oh, wow.
Follow the bus, you know. And well, I tell you, Lefty had something very special. He really did. He was really one of a kind. He had a style. You know, when he come on the stage, he had he kind of wave and wiggle around. He'd wave his guitar, you know, in kind of a circle, like, you know, and had those spangles. His suit, he had these rhinestones on him, and they'd kind of shake, and light would hit him, and they, oh no, he had a style of his own, really and truly. He was kind of magic, you know.
Yeah, he certainly had the charisma. Now, he's responsible for getting your first recording
He was a fun-type person, you know, and he telling all kind of stories about him and Hank Williams, and he knew Hank Williams real well. And at that time, I was with him. He had 4 or 5 songs in the top 10, and all we had was the top 10 then. That's all it was, top 10.
Yeah.
And he had 5 of them. I mean, really, he had 5 in the top 10. That's how big he was. He was unusually big. And there's so many stories. My goodness, it's just you could go on forever talking about him. But when he sat around with the people in a room or something, he had a diamond ring, and he'd wiggle his hand some way, you know. I don't know, some way, so maybe light would hit him, but people can see it, you know. He kind of show it off, you know. he was real. He was no phony. He was real. He was no show off, not really, you know. But he just had something about him, a charisma about him. It was so unusual. Like you said, he was kind of a stylist. A lot of people copied him or tried to, you know, like Merle Haggard. Merle Haggard would tell you that too. That he kind of took part of his style, created his own, you know.
Absolutely. Well, Lefty was responsible for getting you your first recording contract. Is that right?
Oh my gosh, yes. To me, Lefty was a treasure and a blessing. He really was. And I was with him. He brought me back. I was back in 1953. I come back off the road with him to California, and I met Steve Stebbins, his manager at the time, had a place here. He worked with these made posters for artists. You know, the posters you put up for artists. You know. So I got a job working, making posters there, you know. And then they took me down to Capitol Records and got me on Capitol Records in 1953. He's responsible for getting me on records. Man, what a dream come true that was for me.
Your first record, if I remember correctly, was called Butterfly Love.
Yeah, you know, Hank Thompson, another fantastic, great artist, and a dear friend of mine, I must say. He's the one that, on my first 2 records, his band, the Brazos Valley Boys, was the band that was behind me on my records, on Butterfly Love, My Heart's a Playground, Whole Hog and None, Secret Kisses. I think that was the 2 records. My first 2 records. 78 they were, by the way. 78. Can you believe that?
Yep.
My goodness.
There ain't too many around that could still say they had 78 records out. That's pretty cool, Freddie.
Well, that's something, you know. I tell you, I'm proud of it. I still got a couple of the Keys in the Mailbox. That also was a 78 to start with.
Yep. Now, Freddie, did Lefty record some songs that you wrote?
Oh, he's had 2 or 3 of mine he recorded. I forget all the names of them. Most of them were just album cuts, you know. Of course, you never know when you put them in albums, and you just never know whether they're going to pull them out as a hit or as a single or not. You never know that.
Yeah, you kind of found that out firsthand with a little song called Easy Lovin', right?
Oh my goodness! He was so very special. Oh man, I can talk about story. Now he's pretty wild. He was pretty wild, you know. Well, I was too, you know, back then. But I don't know. I don't know. He'd get on the stage and sing, and he'd get through about halfway through a song, and the roar of the crowd would be so loud you couldn't hear the words.
Oh my gosh!
He was just fantastic, absolutely. And he was a good time person, a happy person. You know, he was just to be with him. He was fun to be with. You know. I told the story before, but you know, he had a place here called Town Hall Party. It was a big show out here on the coast, and I guess everybody on the Granville Rapids band was on this show. I remember most all of them was. It was a big show, and Lefty would be on that, but Lefty had a way about him. If you sit next to Lefty and you're talking to you, he had a habit of pecking on you as he talked, you know, and oh gosh, Tex Ritter, what a great man. He was the host on Town Hall Party a lot. What a great man he was.
Oh, yeah.
He said, you know, I love Lefty Frizzell, he said, you know. He said, but when you sit to talk with Lefty Frizzell, he said, I hate to talk with Lefty, you know. He sat outside of it, he'll peck you to death, you know. I just can't stand that constant pecking, he'd say, you know.
Yeah, that's funny.
Boy.
Did you and Lefty stay in contact as you became a star in the business?
Oh, yeah, my goodness, yes. We worked so many shows together. I can't say enough about Lefty, really. You know, we had a lot of times together. We'd had parties and things. I don't know, we both was full of life, you know, and we really lived life. And Lefty really loved to live. Lefty was no drunk or something. Like, you know, he drank a lot. Yes, he did. His favorite drink was vodka and orange juice.
Oh yeah, the screwdrivers.
And boy, he drank enough. He wouldn't eat. I'd fuss at him a lot because he wouldn't eat. He drank a lot, but he wouldn't eat much, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Loved to eat, but he just wouldn't eat when he drank. He just drank that vodka and orange juice. Once in a while, he'd have a beer or something like that, but most of the time, that was his drink, was vodka and orange juice.
That's funny. Now, Freddie, you were telling me before we got on the air that you wrote a song about Lefty, and I'd like to have you share a little bit of that with our listeners, if you would.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, listen, Scott, I'm not in voice. My voice ain't so good right now, but I'm pretty proud of this song. It's called Lefty Frizzell. That's the name of the song. Let me try and sing it for you, okay?
All right, I love it.
Lefty, Lefty, you're still one of a kind. Lefty, hey, good buddy, you left a lot of you behind. There's so many imitations of the star we love so well. And Lefty, they sang pretty, but they're not Lefty Frizzell. Now, Lefty was no angel. He was more like you and me. Living fast and loving hard, that was Lefty's cup of tea. But he was a good example. In many lives, he played a part. Like Mr. Easy Loving. You know, he gave that boy his start. Now, Lefty had something special when he walked out on the stage. There was a touch of magic when he sang, I love you 1,000 ways. Lefty really drew the crowds in while the people, they stood from wall to wall. And he could bring the house down with a thunder of applause. He's in the Hall of Fame now, for that's where he belongs. And he'll live forever there, in spirit and in song. A giant in country music was Lefty's legacy. He's gone now, but he's still here, living on in history.
That is beautiful, Freddie. You said everything that you could possibly say about him right there with that song. That's a beautiful song.
Hey, thank you. I let David sung the song. It's David's brother. And boy, David too. What a wonderful person he is. Him
sure
and Joe,
is.
his wife, his sweet singing baby.
You bet they are. Love him dearly. Wow, that's a beautiful song. We need to get that recorded. You need to get that recorded, Freddie.
Me too. I want to do that. You know, it's going wah 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 wah. You know, have it be a. I wish David would cut it. Maybe or anybody really. I think if Merle Haggard was living, I think he would cut it. I really do. I think he would.
Well, I think Freddie Hart ought to cut it myself. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Scott.
Well, Freddie, I want to thank you. That's a true honor, and folks, that's an exclusive right here on our show. You got to hear Freddie Hart sing live, a song you've never heard before, and I want to.
You sing.
Oh,
Not today. I'm sorry.
it was great. It was great. I want to thank you for sharing some of your memories of Lefty, and always for all your support of country music and my show. And I treasure our friendship too. And I want to thank you so much for being on here to talk about Lefty today.
Oh, Scott, I'm so thankful. I'm proud to be on this show with you. I love all of you so much for making a beautiful dream of mine come true.
God bless you, Freddie Hart. Thank you so much.